Well, good morning, everyone in the United States and North America. Good afternoon, good evening to everyone in the rest of the world. And what a great day, what a great time to be involved with Sizzle. We're just seeing so many amazing things happening. The company is evolving into the new Sizzle 2.0, I guess is what I call it. And the product testimonials just keep rolling in. The other day I was listening to a testimonial that you'll hear tonight, and I'll tell you what, I mean, it brought tears to my eyes. I had to pull over when I was listening to it. I had to pull over. It was so exciting to hear. And my son, who's going to school to be a medical doctor, he was looking at it when I posted the information on Facebook, and he calls me up and he said, "Dad, is this real?" And I had to tell him yes, and he said, "This unbelievable." So without any further ado, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand the microphone over to Katie Larking, our host for the call tonight, and we're going to just have a call with testimonials, and hopefully it inspires you to go out and share this with other people and let them know what can these products really do, how powerful are they in helping people find their health. Katie, if you want to take over.
Thanks, Kurt. That's great. So I'm really excited about this call, and thank you for joining us wherever you are in the world or if you're listening to the recording. So Sizzle's product, the AGE Pill, which stands for Anti-Glycation Extreme, is nothing short of absolutely phenomenal, in my opinion, and the testimonials and results that are coming through from this product are just fantastic. So we've got a few people on the call tonight who are going to be sharing their experience with the product. And I'm going to invite our first guest. If you're on the line there, Gordon, if you can unmute yourself by hitting *6.
Hi everyone, it's Gordon here. I'm calling in from Perth, Western Australia.
Hi Gordon, thanks for calling in. Thank you.
Okay, just letting you guys know that I'm actually really new to this product. I only started last week on the 10th when I first went to the presentations, and that's where I met Allison. I bought 4 bottles, and first day I was actually taking 3. Well, initially I was taking 2 tablets. And then I sort of like, okay, well, try to go 3. So by noontime, I was actually experiencing, I thought I was drunk because I was actually working outdoor and my face was all red and all that. And I said, so what's going on? Because I'm a kind of person who drink a lot of water. I kept drinking more water, and then, but then I sort of like felt a bit, sort of like face become really red. But first day was okay. What I was actually seeing, the impact was the second day. On the first day, at the end of the day, I started to feel that my mental state was different because I felt really alert, and I didn't really get that with a lot of other products. But I said to myself, that's actually it happened so quickly. And then the second day, because I usually go to work, I start work at 7 o'clock, but I you know, I get out of bed around about like 6:30 or something. But then it was rather different on the second day. I sort of like around about 5:45, my eyes open. I felt like I had a lot of energy, which I didn't really know where it was coming from, because prior to taking this, I was taking other supplements, which is of a different company, and conversing with Katie. Katie said, well, why don't you, if you want to feel the full impact, just stop the whole thing. And that's exactly what I did. I stopped all the other supplements, just try this one here. And on the third day, I felt that the memory was really different, because I was actually taking ginkgos. You know, like I'm pretty sure that some of you guys would have experienced when you hit your 50, you tend to look at people, you said, okay, well, I remember this person, but I don't remember the name. I seem to be having a little bit of that, but not too much. So I started to take ginkgo to help me, but then I stopped altogether. So then when I got onto this AGE pills, what it did to me, that there were two incidents happened during that week when I was not really doubling up. I was only taking 3 tablets a session. I forgot some document that I left at home. Usually that back in the time when I was actually in my 20s, my memory is actually quite good. I could visualize where I, left the thing. But, as time goes past, I tend to not able to have the ability. I mean, even with ginkgos, it's like you still don't have the full ability like what I used to have before. But on the 3rd day, I left the documents on top of the piano, and then when I got to the work site, I said, oh, man, I forgot to get the document. I needed the document for work. So I could actually sit there and visualize exactly how the way it was before. I could see the document was on the piano, and I said to myself, that's really weird. I said, let's drive back to see whether I was right. Got back, and I was right. And there was 2 times happened like that. And also I noticed that by the 3rd day, the 4th day, because I had a bit of back pain because I did a lot of martial arts in my earlier years. So one of my foot was longer than the other. So I'm having a bit of back pains there. I discovered that the back pain somehow rather reduced substantially. I mean, it's not gone yet, but it's still there, but it's not as bad as before. By the time when I was actually on the 15, when I actually did like 6 and 6, what I did was I did 3 in the morning, 3 in around about 11 o'clock, and then 2 I did another 3, and in the evening I did another 3. So it's like I break them up. So altogether I'm taking 12. But what I was actually experiencing when I was actually doing 12 tablets a day, the fingernails started to grow really fast, and the hair, because I went to see my hairdresser to cut my hair, and then she said, what's happening to you? I said, I don't know. I said, I'm actually taking this AGE pill. He said, it grows pretty quickly. I said, yeah. I said, I find it's really strange as well. I said, I'm keep cutting my fingernail. So that's the testimonial I've got so far.
Wow,
Katie.
That is fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Yeah, thank you. That's just awesome. And so it was really interesting too how you've mentioned at the start that you noticed that redness and that you felt hot kind of sunburn, and we were having a chat about it. And for those of you who may or may not be aware, there is a thing called niacin flush. So the precursors for what's a really powerful ingredient in age reversal science, and that has been researched and used by NASA and Harvard, is NAD+, and the precursors for that are the B3, which is also called niacin. So when you take this in a higher dose, you can have what's called a niacin flush, and it's only temporary, and your body gets used to it. And so as Gordon mentioned, drinking some water and it will subside. But it actually means it's great. It's working. It's getting everything moving. The blood's circulating. So that's just an awesome testimonial, and I really appreciate you getting on the call.
Thank you.
Thank you. So got the next person on the line. Hopefully, Trevor, if you're on the line to share your testimonial.
Hi, Katie.
Hi, Trevor.
Oh, great. Oh, gosh. That was great. Thanks, Gordon. This is quite a significant testimonial, actually. It's been quite a process. I'm trying to figure where to begin, really. This testimonial is in regards to my partner, Shah. She actually had suffered from quite a significant autoimmune affliction or disease called Takayasu's arteritis. And anyway, this particular form of autoimmune affects the aortic arch. which comes out of the heart, the main artery that feeds the body. And anyway, it sort of goes back a bit, and I'd just like to backtrack just a little bit, really, because, you know, we've only had the AGE Pill for about 8 weeks now, and there is a little bit in behind all this, and I really got to bring up the triangle of life, and I want to try and keep this bit short because I know there's a few people going to be on the call tonight, but the triangle of life was quite significant in this particular disease, and, you know, getting the inflammation out of the body, and this particular disease really affected Shah's heart health, and she suffered a heart failure going back about 4 years, and her aortic valve wasn't functioning very well, and she was getting a lot of fluid built up in the body, and it went on to become more severe, right to extreme, and it got to a point where her heart wasn't functioning very well at all due to this disease. One good thing, you know, being, you know, having the triangle of life, we were able to really control the inflammation in the body there, and unbeknownst to her rheumatologist, her inflammation markers were right down, and she wasn't on any medications whatsoever. But anyway, Shah did go in and have an aortic valve replaced, and that was in March this year, and she recovered quite quickly from that, and lo and behold, 8 weeks ago, we get hold of this AGE Pill. Now, Shah's health has been quite good since the heart operation, but you know, she still had this autoimmune affliction. And what it really is it's also known as pulseless disease. And what happens is with TAC is that the arteries that come off that feed the arms and the carotid arteries that feed the brain, and that they become occluded, they could become blocked, and it's also known as pulseless disease. So Shah hasn't been able to get a blood pressure read in those arms, and what they generally do is take blood pressures in the legs. Anyway, a couple of weeks ago, we were just sitting and we thought, you know, we generally check the blood pressure in the leg, and what we thought we'd do is just put the, the blood pressure cuff on Shah's arm, and you wouldn't believe it. We were sitting there and the machine was pumping up, and I said to Shah, I said, this is working. And generally what happens is that we get an error read and we can't get a blood pressure read at all. But it was working, and we ended up getting a blood pressure read. So we thought, wow, how good is this? And we went to the other arm, and once again, we got another blood pressure read. Now, this was 2 weeks ago, and Shah's been monitoring her blood pressure reads in her arms, and they've actually been improving very slightly as the days go by. So, you know, that's really significant, and we're just so rapt about that. And, you know, it just sort of shows that, that it's been such a significant result for this to happen. So I'm just really excited for the future. Thanks, Katie.
Thanks, Trevor. That's fantastic. And just a quick question, how long has it been since she's been able to actually take her pulse like that? You said it was quite...
Oh, gosh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, I didn't bring that one up. It's been 8 years. She hasn't been able to get a read for 8 years in the arms. And it's quite a... so like most autoimmune diseases, you know, they're generally quite severe. If you can just consider, like, you know, MS or rheumatoid arthritis, you know, they're very, very severe on the body. And tachyarthria is much the same with around and around the heart and the aortic arch. So, yeah, it's been 8 years, Katie, since she's been able to get a pulse, not get a pulse in the arms.
Yep. So fantastic.
Yeah.
Super excited. Yeah. So thank you for sharing. Yeah. Thank you for jumping on the call tonight. And so the next person on the call, if you can unmute yourself and hit *6 on your keypad, Helen. If you're on the call, Helen, if you can hit *6 to unmute. I'm just going to unmute her.
Oh, hi, Katie.
Yeah, okay, I've unmuted you. Thank you.
Hi, good evening, Katie.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
I can indeed. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you. Fantastic.
Oh, great. Thank you, Katie. I was just listening into Trevor's call and feeling quite, wow, what a story. Amazing. Thanks for having me on the program this evening, Katie. I've been on the AGE Pill probably about 8 weeks myself. And I can honestly say I've experienced quite significant changes in my body. One thing in particular, I've had a spectacular result, to say the least, and I can honestly say to me it's life-changing. Many years ago, I was terribly ill and had many surgeries, and unfortunately during one of those surgeries, my bladder was very damaged, and I was told that I would be probably have quite bad problems as I aged with it. Well, what a statement that was, because that's exactly what happened, or has happened. So probably for about the last 15 years, up until I started the AGE Pill, I've probably never had a decent night's sleep without having to get up probably 2 or 3 times during the night, because any bit of pressure caused horrible pain. During the day, I was unable to take in very much fluid, as I'll be quite crude here if I did, I'd wet my pants. So over the years I've had become extremely dehydrated and probably didn't even realise how much until I started the AGE Pill. Basically could never cough or sneeze without wetting my pants. I work in retail, and leaving the sales floor to go to the bathroom can be extremely difficult, trying to get off the floor to go do that. Needless to say, my social life has suffered extremely badly. Basically got fear of having an accident and having to wear special garments, and that's definitely no fun. Since starting the AGE Pill, I probably now drink just in the morning between 9 and about 10:30. I drink about 1 litre of water. Strangely enough, no urgency to go to the toilet whatsoever. Sneeze, cough, no problems whatsoever. No bladder pain. And I can definitely report I don't even have to get up in the night at all anymore, and not getting any pain during the night. So this, for me, is extremely significant and really life-changing, and I'm extremely ecstatic about it because I feel like a new person. I'm feeling better too because I'm drinking more water as well, and that I didn't realise just how dehydrated I'd become, but that's what you do because you're so scared of wetting your pants. I've had other results too. I'm starting to think my hearing, which was starting to go a bit wonky as I age, 65. I'm feeling an improvement there, definitely. In fact, one of my work colleagues even noticed the other day and said, geez, did you get a hearing aid? I said, no, I'm on the AGE Pill. And changes in my skin. And I had quite a lot of spider veins on my legs from standing probably for many years in retail. And I can honestly say they have definitely changed, probably 30% less, and they look 30% better probably than what they did. And every day I'm checking them to see the changes. So I'm a pretty happy girl, and I'll never go off the AGE Pill, and I'm loving every second of it, and I'm very grateful for it. And all I can say is thank you, Tom Mauer, because it certainly made a difference in my life, and I'm very grateful. Okay, thank you, Katie.
Thank you, Helen. That was wonderful. Thank you for sharing. So,
my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. So next on the call, hopefully if we've got her on, is Elizabeth. If you're on the call, if you can unmute yourself, *6.
Hi, Katie. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Good. Hello, everyone. I'm pretty excited. I've just been, and I have been. Hello, can you hear me?
You were cutting out for a second as your mobile rang.
Okay, is that better?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My husband and I have been on the AGE Pill for just 10 days, and we're both pretty excited with the results we're seeing. I'll start with Nelson. His hair is changing colour dramatically. I can't believe what's happening. He had a silver, thinning hair, but it was really quite silver, and now the colour's coming back. It's quite remarkable, the difference, just in a few days. I'm just amazed. And another thing, as we're in Melbourne at the moment, and the weather changed last night, and up till last night, normally when there is a change in the weather, Nelson would really suffer with a really sore thumb and sore ankles due to, I guess, arthritis from shearing days years ago. Anyway, I said to him today, Nell, did you notice any pain in your fingers, in your thumb last night and this morning? And he said no, and also not in his ankle or legs, which is quite remarkable actually. So we're pretty chuffed about that. Now, as for me, I'm pretty healthy really, and don't, to my knowledge anyway, I don't have any real health challenges except for general aging problems, I suppose. But what I've noticed is that when I'm sleeping really well, and when I wake up, I'm feeling really refreshed, and I think our first call I mentioned that too, and I sort of feel a real difference there. But more excited I am about this, the fact that when I wake up now, I don't have these massive eye bags which nearly would trip you over of a morning. And I'm waking up with no eye bags. This is just fantastic. So I'm very, very happy. And also just a few years ago, I developed a very dark mark on the side of my face. It's sort of the size of a finger, I suppose. Well, I can see that really fading very quickly too, so I'm really chuffed. The vanity in me is sort of really coming out. And also, as someone else mentioned tonight, that I am clearer in my head too. I just feel it's hard to describe the feeling, but I feel much clearer in my head. So after 10 days, I think I'm doing pretty well. And as I said, both Nelson and I are really chuffed. And thank you, Katie, for looking after us like you do.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for sharing tonight. That was wonderful.
That's fine. All the best, everybody.
Thank you. So I'm just wondering, is Chris on the line? Chris and Gemma? If you are, you can hit *6.
Hi, Katie. Hi, everyone.
Hi, how are you?
Pretty good now. Best I've been for a long time. I can tell you, Katie, you've been in there with my journey, haven't you?
Yes, I have. Yep.
Yeah, and it's been pretty hard the last 12, 15, the last few years, but particularly the last 12 months or so. Yeah, they say after many years of looking after your own children and family with problems and being a carer, you'd be careful because someone else is going to have to take care of you, and that's what's been happening a bit in my family. They've had to rally around and look after me. So I've had some problems with my thyroid. I hit the wall, so to speak, and lost all motivation in life. I was on the chair for 12 months. Had some problems with my bowel, ileocecal. Also, I had a car accident 10 years ago, and recently found out the reason I've had terrible problems with my hips and pain getting up and trying to get mobile and walking around. I'd have to go and sit down in the shopping centre because I just had no energy in my lower half. So, I've had some challenges with my health, but I'm like I think it was Trevor saying, I've taken some products through the company, the Triangle and Brain Vitality, actually helped me immensely, and I was getting to a point where I was starting to feel a whole lot better. But I got a little cocky, didn't I? And I started to eat badly again and not have as many supplements, and my health went down. So when the Age Pill came along, I started taking it. The first day, I took 3 tablets. And with thyroid, your head doesn't work very well, and you're very foggy and can't get sentences out. And I was having real difficulty with that. But I couldn't even be having a conversation with you guys right now. But took the 3 tablets, and within an hour, Katie, I just can't believe the difference. My head turned on. I get emotional about it. I turned to Gemma, and I'd been doing some research on some health stuff, because I'd been doing a lot of research on health stuff in the last year or two, and my head turned on, and I just went to my daughter. This is what I've been learning, Gemma, and I talked to her for a solid hour about stuff, and my head was so clear. And I said to Gemma, "Can you believe this, that I actually can talk to you?" And we just smiled at each other, and I said, "Okay, we'll see." So I continued on, and then I started to get this feeling of happiness, which I had not had for such a long time. Sorry, I get a bit emotional. And, yeah, Jim. I'm going to let Jim tell a bit more, because...
That's okay. Thank you. No, it's fine. Thank you. That's wonderful.
No, okay, I'm going to try to get through it. Okay. Silly, isn't it? But anyway, my head got so much clearer. And I felt this happiness that I hadn't felt for a very long time. In fact, I'd felt like, if this is what life's going to be like for the rest of my life, it's not going to be much fun. But suddenly my head switched on. I had a feeling of joy, happiness. Even to have a shower was just to feel the water on me and appreciate life, was just amazing. So my skin started changing. Gemma and we both went, wow, the softness of our skin, the wrinkles in our face that started to recede. My muscle strength I can actually go shopping now, and I still have to be careful, because when I find with the AGE pill and you still have challenges, you tend to overdo a little. But I can go downtown now, and I can walk around, and I can shop and enjoy myself. So yeah, things are just looking so much better. I can come home and I can keep on going. So yeah, I'm really thankful. I keep saying to Gemma, "Can you believe it?" And I do thank Tom Maurer and his team. Known him for 30 years, and his products are just wonderful, so appreciate it so much. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for sharing. That was just wonderful.
Thanks, Katie. Here's Jemmy, if you want to talk to Jem.
Yes, that'd be great. Thanks, Gemma.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. I'm 33, and I've been ill for 21 years. I've got chronic fatigue syndrome, fibromyalgia, inflammation of the cartilage around the chest bone, and major anxiety and depression, with frequent collapses where I would be on the floor unable to move for at least half an hour, and sometimes I'd have uncontrollable muscle spasms too. And if I was unlucky and Mum and Dad were out and I landed on my face, they weren't there to rearrange me, and there would definitely be a pool of drool when they got home. But now with being on the AGE pill for 6 weeks, I've not collapsed once. I have more energy, I've got a clearer head, I'm able to cope with the stresses of life, and I've got such a feeling of happiness and motivation. I'm not feeling anymore like I have no purpose. And yeah, just reflecting on that today, I remember the sinking feeling of worthlessness that I'd have in the pit of my stomach, and that would plague me day in and day out. So for that alone, I'm just so thankful for this amazing product that's changing our lives.
That's fantastic. Thank you. I've got a tear in my eye. Thank you. Thank you for joining us tonight. And I think we've got a couple more people. If we're lucky, if Daryl, if you're on the line, if you can hit *6.
Hello.
Hi, Daryl. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Yourself?
Oh, good, good. Thanks for joining us.
That's good. That's not a problem. Well, first I'd like to thank Tom and his family and all those who have participated in this. This is just something unbelievable, this product. I'm 57, and we got a puppy about a year ago. And being a small dog, it's a Tibetan Spaniel cross. and it's a very small dog, and yeah, you know, it likes to play around. And I used to get down on the floor with it before the AGE Pill, and I'd end up having to stay there for 5 minutes because it took me that long to get back up off the floor. Anyway, I started taking the AGE Pill, and all of a sudden I realised I was getting up off the floor without a problem or without having to do that old man, you know, pickup. And I thought, oh, this is fantastic. The other thing, I'm sleeping absolutely fantastic. Nothing wakes me. And I've got varicose veins in my leg. I'm a chef and standing in kitchens. Over years, I had varicose veins in my left leg, really bad, to the stage of where it got infected, and I had to go get some tablets for it. And the doctor wanted to take me to hospital, and I said, no, not yet. And about a month and a half ago, I actually noticed they had decreased really, you know, really down. And that was a big excitement for me, that one. But the one big thing is that I haven't been able to eat bread or drink milk for the last 5 years, I suppose. If I drunk milk or even had an Irish whiskey or something with milk in it or cream in it or something, alcohol, I'd find myself up the next morning coughing and trying to get that out of my system. But as well as that bread. But recently, I suppose just a couple of weeks, 3 weeks after taking the AGE Pill, I've started to notice that the wife brings home a fresh loaf of bread, and I sat down and had 2 pieces of fresh bread. Got up the next morning and yee-haw, there's no coughing. There's just absolutely, you know, fantastic feeling that, and it doesn't just sit there anymore in my gut, and you know, it's not there. So that's another thing that I'm very happy for. We've got a wide range of Tom's products, and we're taking everything daily. And we're just waiting for our rip to get here so that we can get more excited.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, thank you very much, Katie, for getting me on, and all the best to everybody. It's just a fantastic company. Thanks again.
Thanks, Daryl. Thanks for getting on the call and sharing. That was just wonderful.
No worries.
Thank you, yeah. I think we've got one more person. Peter, if you're on the call, if you could hit *6 and unmute yourself. Okay, he may not be on the call. That's okay. It's a little bit late there in Queensland. So I think we'll wrap up the call now. We're up to 34 minutes. So Kurt, if you want to finish off and close off the call, that'd be wonderful.
Wow, what a fantastic call, Katie! All the great testimonials, and I'm sitting here. It's it's 5:30 in the morning over in the United States where I'm at, and I know there's a number of people across the states that are listening as well. And you just got to think, if it can do this with all the people that shared their stories today, what can it do for you? And if it can make these kind of changes with the things that people already have wrong, what can it do in the world of prevention? And as a physician that has worked in the field of anti-aging medicine, to me, I always tell people, I say, the testimonials that you don't hear, the ones that the guy who didn't get arthritis, the person who didn't have a heart attack, the gal who didn't get fibromyalgia. I mean, just think about that. What about those people, the prevention, the testimonials that you'll never hear? And that's to me, that's the most powerful thing in the world, because we just help somebody probably save years and years of suffering. So get these stories out to everyone. You know, my own story 10 years ago, or actually it goes back to high school. I broke my back playing high school football, and I've suffered from back pain since high school. And sometimes it was so bad. I mean, I couldn't get up out of a chair. My back would hurt so bad. And being a chiropractor, you know, I'd go get it adjusted, and I'd have to do that off and on all the time just to really keep myself in shape. And I've noticed since the AGE Pill came out that my back doesn't hurt anymore. I mean, those 40 years of back pain, gone. And I don't have that achiness, and like the gentleman was sharing, I'm 55 years old. I don't have that old man, you know, kind of creaking as I get up and push myself up out of a chair. That's gone. And I noticed, you know, 10 years ago I got in a bad motorcycle wreck. My right leg, especially my right foot, was just smashed into a gazillion pieces, and it's been so stiff and sore, and they taught us in school that you know, after a couple of years, 2-3 years, you met what they called maximum medical improvement, which is that's the best you're ever going to get. You're not going to get any better. It doesn't matter what you do, you're not going to get any better. And here it is, 10 years later, and I can honestly tell you that my foot is getting better. I can go up and down stairs and without the difficulty that I had, you know, just a matter of 6 months ago, 8 months ago. And it just keeps getting better and better and better. And I was at a friend's house in Colorado for the past week, helping them do some Sizzle presentations there, and they started giving the AGE Pill to their dog. They have a 6-year-old golden and retriever, and this dog, you know, just always kind of acted like it was stiff and old and all that, and even when I started going out there a couple months ago, you could see it. And now this dog's just running around like a puppy, acting like a puppy. And when we did the presentations, everybody that came over, they're like, "What'd you do to your dog?" And you know, in dogs, they don't have that placebo effect. They just don't have that. And Katie can say that with Milo, with her dog. So Katie, thank you for putting this together, and I know everybody's going to want to share this with everyone. Have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy what you're doing, and get this information out. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.